Welcome everyone to this brand new Q&A this week. Everyone listening on YouTube and everyone here in the Discord live. Welcome Techno and Marsh. Thank you for joining me here on the panel. Marsh, I'll let you take it away because you've got some ideas for Pow Vista that I think you're eager to share. So I'm ready to listen.
I have been eager for like a week and a half. So the very first idea, I know that we have music in every single area, but what if we have it to where in the boss arenas, they have a special track that correlate more to like the feeling you should get in there. So like with Ember Mods, more of a guttural feeling, that little bit of dread. With Paladin, you're feeling that nobility and that dedication to the kingdom. And then with Cybergast, a bit more of an electric feel. So like even in the background, you have an electric guitar and you can use like the little wave thing on it. Like what is your prospects on adding in music additions for that?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I think that's a great idea. Also, I would even one up you on your idea and say, not only should we have boss room special music that's kind of like an anticipation theme type thing, but like when you're actually battling, the music should like kick in and be like a full boss theme basically. So there should be like 2 tracks per boss, I think. What do you think?
I am definitely on board for that personally. Maybe we can have one for even just standard combat. Have it be like for like player combat or for NPC combat, like either or. Um,
Oh, that's
but I
interesting.
feel like having some form of combat music would be pretty fun.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like imagine though, like you're in the PvP world and you like accidentally bump into someone and the music pumps in like dun dun dun, dun like
The boss fight is about to start.
yeah, spikes the adrenaline.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, I wonder. We would just have to fine tune like the triggers and make sure that the music is like dying off at an appropriate time and fading back into the like more peaceful theme. But I totally agree
Yeah,
with
for sure.
you. I and like whatever it is, we need to make sure it's good because it's kind of like how in Pokemon, like the music that you probably spend the most time listening to is the battle music because that's the most gameplay is like in a battle.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of the same when like you're grinding for a hoodie. Like we need that theme. Like I almost wonder, should we? Because I've kind of gone back and forth on this. Like, should we just have more? Kind of do like a RuneScape style thing where you get to choose what music's playing out of all the themes, or just make each theme really really long and more like less repetitive, basically. I'm also the type of person who often turns off the music in my games and like just plays my own music. Uh, so I think that's the reason we haven't like prioritized it too much, which is funny because I'm like, what I do for a living is music. So, but for some reason I just, haven't really prioritized the music of Pow Vista as much as I think like the potential is like so high for making it way more like emotionally impactful, especially as you're for like a new player, starting out. Because I think the turning off the music stage is kind of more when you're a later stage player and you're like, I want to grind for a hoodie. I don't want to listen to OG Island theme, 900
Yeah,
times looped. Or if it's March, it's like 900,000 times looped. Uh,
so true.
yeah, let's read the chat here. So we got, I hear a song list. Can we have an auto and manual and loop? I mean, that would be easy. Yeah. 100% music off. And then Raisu is putting in like an Elden Ring boss in the chat, which I don't even know which one that is. I'm ashamed to say I didn't play much of Elden Ring.
It's more like one of the late game bosses. I know that much.
I bet that boss has a great theme. Yeah.
All bosses in Elden Ring have a good theme.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. Now, how about this? Can I ask you this? Where do you set this priority as like a 1 to 10 with everything else that we could add to Pal Vista? And I'm not saying I would like if it's a low priority, we'll never do it. But I'm just saying like how high priority would you set something like this? Just because we are kind of it's always a trade off on what we work on. But I agree that this would be an awesome addition.
Yeah, I could see that being around like a 2 or 3.
Out of 10?
It would be fun to have it added in, but it's also not something to super focus on, especially if we're going to be adding new areas and new content to the game.
Sure. Like if you found an update, hey, we have like, new music in the game versus like, hey, we got a new area. It's like, I think the new area is a little bit more exciting.
For sure.
But at the same time, I don't want to, because like we could also have gone the route of just doing no music. And we haven't gone that route. And like, for example, Icefall, near the end of like developing Icefall, I'm like, oh crap, we don't have like a theme ready. And like, so I made the theme real quick. And I think it turned out great. But like the theme really added to the new experience of like entering a new area, like the music.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's an important thing. And we can't just like say, okay, it's low priority, so we're not doing it. I think it's pretty, I think it's something that we want to do, especially when we have like the, advantage where like, I'm a musician and I know how to, make music. And I think I could actually make the music a lot better than it currently is. In fact, I mean, I don't want to go on too much of a rabbit trail here, but I'm so torn on like what direction to take the music. I've tried so many different like little like prototype versions of Imbermoss theme and stuff. Cause we could go the route of like, hardcore rock playing while you're fighting Imbermaw, or we could go the route of like lo-fi hip hop beats going. We could go the route of like cinematic, like Star Wars, like Luke fighting the Rancor in Star Wars. We could, those are basically the three ones. I mean, I like them all. We could also go the route of just keeping it piano only, which I'm not a huge fan of. I like the piano themes kind of right now. Those are kind of almost like placeholders for what it could be, right? Like imagine like an orchestra replacing the current themes. I think it would just create a way more peaceful vibe if it was like a really subtle, almost like Genshin Impact. I really love the music in Genshin Impact and how subtle it. And when I think of a good battle theme, I think of the Genshin Impact little battle theme that kicks in. Even though some people find it annoying, I think it's kind of cool how it kind of kicks in subtly. I don't know. And then like I also like how in Genshin Impact how the music comes in and out. Like it'll like stop playing for a little while and it'll be just like atmosphere only. Anyway, those are my thoughts. But do you guys have any thoughts on like what genre of music, or like you could also say all of the above, right? And like I'm looking at chat here if you guys want to give any opinions on this. But yeah, what do you guys think? Genres of music.
I'm not 100% sure when it comes to the genre itself. I know one thing that just constantly plays in my mind whenever I think of Cable Gas is actually one of the OSTs for Ultra Kill. During one of the levels, if I recall, there's a very popular guitar riff that plays, and I know the band is like Heaven Piercer or something. Yeah, Heaven Piercer, but I have to find the actual song itself. And I'll find like the little snippet as well and I'll share it, but it's like one of the most popular guitar riffs, and that's what I picture at least for Cable Gas. For Embermaw and Paladin, I have no idea off the top of my head. I just know like the two themes that I mentioned for them is how I picture their themes.
I agree, and go ahead, Techno.
Sorry.
No. I cut in. Go ahead, Techno.
No, I was gonna say like I mean for like boss wise, I would for sure say either more like a rock. I mean, maybe it depends on the boss, or maybe like more rock esque or more like orchestraic, like like an epic, like it depends on the fight, but I think that would be like you just feel the intensity, especially when there's like mechanics you have to like worry about, kicks in at certain times or whatnot. Like you have like a certain soundtrack of when like this big attack's about to happen or something, or it's like the generic soundtrack when you're just straight up fighting. I think that would be pretty cool for like boss wise. I mean, generically though, I would just say like either the way it is now or like more lo-fi esque would be pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Like my basic decision on this right now is kind of having like a blend of like orchestra, like really mellow orchestra through most of the soundtracks that are like peaceful, and then like maybe like almost like sampling those or like sampling an orchestra type instruments. Like I'm talking about like, you know, brass and strings and you know, epic things for like the boss battles, and like almost making like a cool lo-fi beat out of it, to make it kind of, you know, like as long as the energy has to be there, you know, and like anything is going to be better than what is currently there. I mean, I think I have a Reddit comment burned in my mind where someone commented on Reddit when I shared the game one time. They said something like, "Do you want the Ember Mob battle to have zero emotional weight because there's no music there? Like there's no special music." So I think it's a shared feedback on the boss battles, especially that when you're fighting a boss, it needs to be like impactful sonically as well as visually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Anything else on the music, or do you have other stuff too? Is that the only thing? Imagine that's like the only thing. I don't think that's the
That
only
wasn't
thing,
my
right?
only thought for the
Yeah,
music, at least. But I do have other ideas that's actually like content related, so it's more additions to the game rather than just music.
sure.
Um, Techno, do you have any further thoughts before we go on to the second topic?
In terms of music, no, I would just say big ups. I would say 100% would be, you know, more music, especially boss music would be cool. I guess the only question, this isn't necessarily Pow Vista, but I mean, this is more Steven closed on Sunday. But, you know, more so like, how did you, I'm just curious, but like, how did you become closed on Sunday or like making music, you know, like this whole thing? When did you start doing it or why did you start doing it?
That's a lot of lore, but I'll keep it quick so we can still get to other ideas. But okay, guys, one thing I wanted to interject though before I do this is that another thing we really need is like little level up jingle or themes, like every time you level up, like dun da da da, you know, something like that where it
Oh,
gives a break in the,
100%.
you know, like all games do that basically. And it's like that would be a big like game changer for like the dopamine hit when you level up, you know. Yeah, so we definitely need that, and we could do that for all kinds of things. Like we could even do that, you know, a special one for when you get a hoodie, special one for when you get a shiny. We also need like I think a shiny sound would be super cool. So when you equip a shiny item, you know, like the little gling, you know, shiny sound.
Mhm.
Yeah, if you look at my like TikTok videos that I make for Pow Vista, like that's kind of like my dream soundtrack for Pow Vista, right? The way it works in those, where I like add extra sound effects in there that aren't in the actual game to like sell like the emotional impact of like whatever story I'm telling with like the game footage. But basically the only reason we haven't added those is just a priority thing, but I think we got to get them in, because the sooner we get them in, then it's really not that much work to add all the sound effects and music in that we could have in the game. And I think we got to make that happen. But okay, on to the quick lore of Steven closed on Sunday and Pow Vista. So let's start back in 2015 real quick. Okay, I'll keep it really quick though. It'll be like an overview. Okay, so in 2015, I start my first business, and I'm a guy who before that grew up. My dad was a music teacher, taught me music, so I had like these musical skills. And so in 2015, I'm 21 years old, and I'm like married, and I have my first. Wait, I actually don't have a kid at this point. This is a year before I have a kid, but I'm married, and I have like I need to like provide for my family, and I'm like working a job that's kind of like minimum wage at the time. But I started my first business, and like finally by the middle of 2015, I made more in my business than I did at my like minimum wage job, and I was able to quit that and only be like supporting myself with doing helping people like edit their music tracks and mix their songs and do things like that. And so I did that for like 5 years basically, and then or maybe like 4.5 years. And in 2019. And like throughout all that time, I did a lot of projects that were similar to what I do now with Closed on Sunday, which I make lo-fi versions of popular songs. I'd have a lot of like projects during that time where, man, I'm making this story way too long. I had a lot of projects during that time where I like make a like 8-bit version of a Drake song, or like make a ringtone version of a another popular song. And I was wondering, like, how do these people like afford to pay me money to do this? Like, how are they making money with it? And like, I looked into it and I learned about like how you make money with streams and stuff. And so in 2019, I finally like started Closed on Sunday, which is like, and the whole idea was like, okay, I like this lo-fi genre. What if I make lo-fi versions of songs? And so I started out with like Star Wars Cantina Band, and now that one has like, over, I think it's like over 12 million streams on Spotify or something. And I have like 100 other, or now it's like, man, I think it might be like 250 songs or something. And they all have like, I think it's like 80 songs that are like over 1 million views each. So like basically I grew as a lo-fi artist, and I started making a lot of money with that. And I stopped like working for other people, and I only made music as my main income. And then at a certain point in 2021, I was like making so much money that I'm like, dude, I'm gonna like, I should like fulfill like a lifelong dream and finally make a video game. So that's how I started making Pow Vista. And I found our lead dev servers offline, and we prototyped a little version of the game together, which was just two characters in a world being able to like network and see each other in the game. And so basically, Closed on Sunday is what makes Pow Vista possible, at least for right now, because that's kind of what's given me the income to be able to like devote my time to this game and get it off the ground. Because it's a hard road getting this thing off the ground and making money. Which currently it's not making money, just FYI for anyone out there. But we're going to get there to where it's self-sufficient, I hope. That way we can like afford to like grow as a team and like do more stuff. But yeah, I guess that's the lore of Closed on Sunday and how that applies to the scenario. So and it also shows that I have a background like making music that people like listening to and stuff. So yeah, that's oh wow, I'm at 14 million streams actually on Cantina Band. That's awesome. Anyway, enough on the backstory. You guys want to move on to the next thing?
Yeah. No, I honestly, first I just want to say appreciate it. I don't want you to think like it's not like too like relevant to what's going on, but no, honestly, everyone wants to know, a little Steven lore, like so I think the little 5 minutes of just, how it started and how it is, came to be, and it's really interesting. So thank you for sharing with us.
Glad to hear it. Thanks for the question.
Right. For the second idea, this is very dependent on the progress of something. So remember how we were talking about dual elements a while back?
Yes.
And the system to the flip between the two. How far has that come at all? Like, has it been to the point where it's getting near ready to be tested, or is it to the point where it's just like still in the workshop pretty much?
So okay, right now we do have capabilities to put in dual elements, but only in this way. So with a big caveat, okay? So the only dual element we can do is the same dual element that players can have right now, which is you can have like a separate defense type from an attack type. And so we can do that to NPCs. They currently don't have any. We don't have any that are dual, like have a defense and an attack type that are different. I think the way that it works. So yeah, well, it's not that I think. I know this is the way, at least in the earlier gens, that it works in Pokemon with dual types. Is like there aren't like dual type attacks. There's only single type attacks, but there's like dual type Pokemon types, right? So that's like a dual type defense, basically. And so to have like a dual type, so yeah, and to answer your question about, because I know that's like what you're referring to, right? Like having a dual type hoodie or a dual type NPC, or even, dare I ask, a dual type skateboard / attack. Are you asking about that as well, or no?
Luckily, no.
Okay, because that would be a little harder to figure out.
This luckily won't be affected by that, and we can actually push out new content this way. What if instead of having it be defense based for the bosses, we have it switch during phases. So like phase one could be, if we're going to use the pyramid boss as an example, because we already know it's going to be death and earth. Phase one is death, phase two is earth. So it switches after losing all its HP in phase one. So what
Yeah.
that could look like is like the regular palette of it is still being used, and this is exclusive to like the hard mode stuff right now because that's where the idea of it comes in. Um, phase one has it in death, and then phase two, it'll switch from the standard to the shiny palette and switch the defense typing from death to earth. Because this would be a very easy way to streamline the process of actually including new content into the game. Um, so it's like that flag of, oh yeah, phase one, HP is 0, switch to phase two, HP, whatever the HP is, with this different element kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
and of course, the change in palette. So it's basically a model swap. Um,
Yeah.
I think that would be at least one way to really have it go right off the bat. And then with that in mind, this is where idea 3 comes in. So I'm going to jump straight to idea 3 is a new ice boss because we want to include future bosses and everything. But we are very limited in the number of bosses. And I know I've mentioned before, I would like to include new bosses into the game. Um, so it increases the number of bosses every 2 islands or 2 locations. So like OG and Tori still have 1. Rancho would have 2, which is going to be Cable Gast and the Pharaoh. Icefall would have 2, which is going to be, if we're looking at it in this way, the ice boss that I'm about to mention and the mechanics of it, and the poison boss that we had been talking about last Q&A. So this ice boss, how the fight would work is that you have 4 pillars. Those pillars are frozen to begin. You can hit the boss with fire, deal the elemental bonus. You can hit the pillars to melt them, but it would switch from ice to water in that instance. But you can also skip straight to phase 2 during this, where phase 2 is its water form. You have to hit the pillars with an ice board in order to freeze them again, in order to deal damage to the boss in the first place, and then you can take it out from there. So it's like introducing dual elements outside of the pyramid as well. And in this case, it's completely swapping it from a resistance and weakness to something that's more, oh yeah, you have to have the swap in order to deal enough damage to even get through the fight in the first place. So you have to bring more items for that fight. What are your thoughts on both ideas?
Yeah, I love both ideas. And just to iterate on what you said earlier about your question of basically like how's the progress on the ability to do that? Like we don't have any of those boss mechanics actually coded and into the game yet. But based on what I'm hearing, it seems like it's going to be a very quick and easy mechanic to code in, basically. And I think that's an excellent idea. Now, let me ask you, and that sounds really fun. I really like the idea of like you bring your fire board, you bring your fire, like imagine like you're like untrained, and you bring your, or like unknowledgeable, and you bring like your fire gear to fight the ice boss, and then like it melts into water, but it's like still attacking you, and now it's like damaging you, or like you're unable to damage it as much as you need to because now it's like a water boss. I think that's perfect. I think that's awesome. Like, are there other mechanics that would be to this boss that you have prepared to share, or like do you imagine that being the full mechanic set for that boss?
That's definitely one of the mechanics I have in mind. The other mechanics would come to play, kind of like the paladin mechanics that I brought up a while ago, which I think is what, like 5 months ago now, where it actually has arena base attacks. So it'll have icicles that fall from the ceiling that cast a shadow on the ground. You have to avoid those icicles in order to not get hit. Think of it kind of like the fight with wardens in old school RuneScape, where you have the rocks that are being thrown at you from Baba, which if they hit you, of course, it's going to deal a ton of damage. You're having to dodge the lightning, of course, not to that scale for the ice boss, but that kind of idea where you're having to dodge them in order to avoid that damage.
Absolutely.
It'd just be like a fun little way to introduce a new boss that's more of a higher skill level for players. So it's more like you should be going through the game and go back there rather than, oh yeah, I'm in this area, let's do this, and then get the items.
Totally. And I think if we have like a sort of difficulty system that's pretty standardized across the bosses in terms of, there's the normal boss that you just fight as a part of the story, and then like maybe there's like that hard mode boss that you mentioned, or even a shiny boss, or even a cursed boss, something standardized like that. In terms of like a system where you're like setting the difficulty. Let me like as an analog, I could tell you like like Theater of Blood, where you can complete it at different difficulties, and you can like turn on mechanics essentially. I think some kind of standardized system, since we're at the point now where we have like basically zero boss mechanics right now. If we have a standardized system, aka like whatever the UI is, I'm not sure exactly how that'll work. Like maybe there's like, I'm just spitballing here, but I'm just copying Tombs of Amaska right now, but there's like a little pillar thing that you go up to and you click the tablets that you want to enable for the fight, something like that. It doesn't have to be that exactly, and probably shouldn't be that exactly, but whatever it is, or like having an item in your inventory that if you have it in your inventory when you enter the boss room, now you're in like the harder boss room. We need to kind of decide on what that standardized system is, and if we have kind of that standardized system, then we're going to be able to add more bosses and not have to like come up with a new way to like increase the difficulty or not increase the difficulty. I think that'd be cool. The falling mechanic is like going to be awesome. I think on a skateboard, dodging out of the way.
You have shadows that you have to pay attention to, as well as like just being able to avoid the attacks of the boss.
Now, if you were to choose, like, what should the player expect to happen when like the boss follows you and they're like under the icicles when they're falling? Well, I guess it could probably be like conditional on what type of boss it is. For example, like an icicle falling on an ice boss might actually like heal up the boss or something.
It could heal it or
I could definitely like try and come up with stuff like that, because I didn't even think that far ahead when it came to the ice boss. I know for Ember Maw, the idea from months back was like if you drag it into the pillar of lava, it would take damage from that.
And now that I think about it,
wasn't really anything.
It's actually
good.
Now that I think about that, because I remember talking about that with you, I think it was on a Q&A or maybe it wasn't. But if you think about it, like, I mean, my ideal version of Ember Maw is like he almost like jumps out of the lava to fight you when you enter.
I was gonna say probably like he like lives in the lava or something, so he's probably resistant.
Yeah, so it's like him taking a drink of water when the lava hits him or something,
I could see that being like a heal for him then.
Yeah, in fact, that could be kind of like a standard expected thing, and maybe there could be like exceptions, like maybe when you're fighting Paladin, and if there is a falling mechanic. I mean, we don't want to do the falling mechanic every single time, but it is a really like good mechanic that's kind of like a tool belt mechanic that can be used lots of times. But let's say, for the sake of argument, let's say you're fighting Paladin and like a tree's falling down on you or something, and the tree hits Paladin, then it would make more sense that the tree like damages Paladin. Because it's like, it's not like Paladin like eats trees or something. Although that would be cool.
I think it would
if he like takes a bite out of a big like tree log.
I think the big thing with Paladin, with my suggestion from then, like I gotta pull it up. It was the prospect of having rubble. But I was thinking like it's rubble from just the castle itself falling apart.
That's cool. What if the knights
Just
also
either
are
like,
like up on the battlements, like dumping
yeah,
pitch or something on you? And what if? Okay, I hate to. I'm like totally interrupting you, but I just have to share this idea. So like, imagine if a tree does fall down, but like instead, like you think it's gonna hurt Paladin, but then like he like just picks it up and like starts like doing a different phase where he's like whacking it with the tree. Anyway, that's just sorry, random
has
idea.
both the board and the tree. And it's like, wait,
Yeah,
where'd that fur come from? Boom! Smacked into the wall, is to death.
yeah. But okay, I totally interrupted your train. I'll try not to do that anymore. Anyway, please
No,
continue.
you're fine. Um, so like due to the age of the castle, there's just rubble that's settled on the ground. So like during that one attack, because I pulled it up already. There's like the damage zone, and then of course the swipe attack that I had mentioned in that same post for that ground attack. Like how I imagine it is when it stomps. I know I said in the post it would be like rubble falling, but it could be like the rubble shooting out from underneath. So you're far enough away in the standard mode, and then in the hard mode, because of the strength of Paladin during that, it's like launching the rubble up into the air and back down. But we can use like little dust clouds in a sense to have that same kind of idea. Um,
Ooh, that's
but
cool.
of course, that would be like outside the zone for for that um huge effect, and then the inner portion would just be based off distance.
Yeah,
That's at least how I imagine that one. So it's not like we're constantly depending on the falling obstacles to either damage or heal the boss, but it gives that same idea of just something being there that's gonna either hurt the player or hurt the boss.
totally. I love that idea. And sorry, I keep interjecting here, but you're giving me so many ideas. Like I want to riff on all your ideas, like the dust cloud. Imagine if there's a phase with Paladin where he's doing like Fury swipes or something like that, or even has the big tree log, and it's almost like the dust clouds are like where you have to go to be hidden from Paladin, so that he can't see you, so he doesn't attack you during that phase, or something like that. That might be an interesting idea.
Ooh, that would be very interesting.
But this is like a gold mine right now for boss mechanic ideas, which is exactly what we need. So, because last week I was asking you guys about more tile mechanics and things like that. So that would be great. Like we've had a suggestion too of having tall grass in Pow Vista, where it's kind of like League of Legends grass, where like you can't see other people
Oh yeah,
who
yeah.
are in the grass, but then once you're in the grass, you can see them, and if you know they're there, you can go there. Uh, you know, Almost like the Fortnite bush, in a sense, where you can go there and hide. I don't know how useful that would be with current mechanics, but it might be useful for, if we do. It might be cool to like kind of have a whole, you could have a whole gang of your like skaters in a PvP world hiding in a bush, and then they come out, and basically own you. Uh,
That'd be pretty scary.
yeah. But what's cool also is anytime we can like reuse a mechanic in different forms. For example, like a falling lava might be the same as like is going to probably be very similar code to like a falling icicle or a falling anything else, or like tall grass and like a bush and a dust cloud might work in a similar way. So, and I was also thinking like ice, and like if there was ever a boss that like puts slime on the floor that makes it slippery, ice and like slime on the floor is going to be a very similar mechanic.
Yeah, for sure.
So things like that where we can duplicate the work in order to generate more mechanics. Now, obviously, we don't want to do the thing where everything's just one mechanic, but having like a good set of like 8 or 10 core mechanics, and being able to like multiply those into like 27 of them for like spread across all the different
Mhm.
bosses. Each boss having somewhere between 3 and 5 mechanics or something. I think is a great move. So, by the way, if anyone has ideas in the chat, please feel free to. Like we see these great, the bear fighting in the chat is funny. Feel free to give your guys ideas in the chat. I wanted to ask. Well, gosh, I keep interrupting you, March. I'll just let you continue.
Honestly, that was about the end of my ideas for for an ice boss, and then for just like mechanics in general. Um,
Should we ask Techno?
my
So,
yeah, like I'd be down to hear from Techno.
well, two questions first from you, March.
Sure.
So what exactly would the rumble or the rubble like? What is your idea? What would that be utilized in the paladin fight? I'm just wondering.
It wouldn't really be utilized by the player. It's being utilized by Paladin in this case because it's too fine for us to use. Just like think of just random bricks in the middle of the arena.
So
That's
like he
at
would
least
like throw them at us, or what exactly? Like
no.
you're
So he's stomping on the ground, and the stomp is generating enough force to launch that rubble up. So think of like if you look at the mechanics, and I'm gonna share the image in the chat real fast, and keep in mind it's a very crude image I made in MS Paint. Like I just made it on the fly, pretty much.
No worries. Let's see it, bro.
So like the first one that's being shown is the swipe, and that's being shown to the player that it's going to happen via the red exclamation point. And then you have multiple swipes that occur that you have to skate away from. Um, that was the very initial idea. The stomp takes place within the spot that says death, 40, 20, and 0%. So that 40% is rubble being shot up, and then there's not as much rubble being shot up at the 20% zone. And then the 0% zone, there's just no rubble being shot up. If you're in the death zone, then of course it's going to insta kill you. You're like right under the boss. Basically, think of his foot going down and turning you into a player pancake.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
So I would say so. Like this is just how I'm just taking it in now and picturing it. I think it would be cool if like let's say he gets to half health or a certain health threshold, he goes immune for like I don't know a second, right? And he like roars. So like you're saying it's like in this castle, right? He like roars, and his roar is just so loud that it makes those bricks or the castle collapse, like you're saying, where like
Yeah.
these pieces of rubble then end up on like his field or whatever you want to call it,
Totally.
and then that's how he utilizes that. I think that'd be, that would make sense to how like the rubble appeared or whatever, and then you're saying like he'd stomp to.
Yeah, I actually like that idea too. Um,
Great idea.
if we were to introduce boss phases, we could have that be a different phase entirely rather than have it an HP threshold. But I do like the idea of an HP threshold being part of the main mechanic as well. This is just something like again I made a 5 months ago or something. Like I have to see when I made it. March 27th is when I made it. So almost 5 months ago now. It's
Dude,
just something
And
I came
then
up with.
go ahead.
sorry. Rice just had a great idea of like Paladin pulling off a nollie. Like, how cool would it be for these phases when like there's kind of like almost like a special move is being telegraphed. If like the boss got on its skateboard and was riding it and like did a trick, and then when it landed it's like and it's like also roaring at the same time, and we can see like almost like sound waves reverberating in the screen shaking when that happens. And then the debris comes down. I think that'd be pretty cool too. I mean, we're kind of like
That would
we're adding to scope here, but that would be super cool. And it's basically the falling rock mechanic at that point, except once the rock hits the ground, it's like there. It like stays there, like like a I forgot what like a Leviathan boss fight where the rocks stay on the ground. But like the debris on the ground, and now you have to dodge all the debris, otherwise you're gonna get stuck while you're trying to fight. And then maybe we have to give Paladin some way, though, if we're going to have blocking on the boss field, for lack of a better term, boss arena ground. If we're having that, like the debris, we have to either like code it so that it still leaves area for like a 3x3 NBC to traverse, or we got to like give Paladin like some kind of ranged attack. What do you guys
I can
think?
picture it just like it wouldn't be able to walk, or it would be able to walk through the rubble,
Oh, that's a
because
good one too.
like it's just such a huge bear that it's just crushing it under its
It
feet.
could
You
even
know?
remove the rubble.
Um,
It could even like clean up the rubble
yeah, yeah.
or flatten it.
I feel like that would be definitely a way to introduce that, and like it flattening it would be not incentivizing the insinuation that when it does the stomp, that rubble that it crushed is just being launched up.
Oh, that's pretty cool too. Yeah, that's cool. Um, someone says confuse the player by inverting their WASD controls. I personally
Ugh.
absolutely hate that mechanic. It's so annoying.
So imagine you're on mobile,
I,
you're just
I've
half
actually
asleep.
I've pitched that idea a few times with different things. I think it'd be funny with like the poison or like some sort of you know inverses all your controls, everything you do. You
Yeah.
know, I
The
just
I
think
mean,
it'd
I
be
guess
Muscle
the
funny.
memory
downside to
goes
that,
hard.
I mentioned this, but like you could probably write a plugin really easily that just disables that whenever it happens because it would be like a client side thing.
Yeah.
Because you could just write a plugin that sends the opposite direction when you do the input. So that's the only downside. Because like, I guess that's the only downside, especially now that we have plugins available for anyone to load in. Um, so like, does that kind of make sense? Like how you could easily write a plugin to disable that, or no?
No, I get it. It's just like a funny make that like it would be random. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like a consistent thing. So it's just like if you get hit with it, you're like, oh, what's going on?
One
Yeah.
in 1,000 chance for it to happen.
I mean, as long as we don't care that like a basically a nefarious person could disable it, then we can totally add it. But I also, on top of that, find it very annoying when it happens to me in Battlefront 2 when I get Jedi Mind Track used on me in playing with Jedi's. But anyway, Techno wants proximity chat. Okay, Rice Zoo's like changing the subject here. Dude, proximity chat would be so much fun. But maybe we can stay on topic for here.
I think
Techno
I think
had
that
other
would be a
stuff,
little
right?
harder to moderate, to be fair.
Well, yeah, there'd basically be the moderation would be after the fact, essentially, and it would be. I mean, we already struggle with moderation even with just the normal chat. Which, gosh, I could go on so many rabbit trails here. But Techno, let's stay focused on
I
the.
got
You
you.
had something else to say about boss mechanics, right?
Yeah. I'll get us back. Okay, so how you were saying like some sort of like standard base level, like pick the difficulty. I think it would be cool, like instead of just like picking the difficulty. Like for me, I'm like someone who tries to be like if I'm doing a fight, I want to try to be like a perfectionist, like to a T or how like push the limits. How fast can I get this done? Right. I think it would be cool with bosses, like with the thawing them out per se, or like if you use a fireboard on the ice, right? What if you never even have to do that? Like, I think it would be cool if the difficulty of the boss is the certain um, elements that you incorporate into it. Like, let's say I could make the fight go way slower if I never use a fireboard. Like, the fights might be like 3 minutes long, right? But it'd be way easier. Or if I want to push myself, it's like, oh, I would use a fireboard early to, let's say, turn him to water, right? But if he's water, he's harder, he hits harder. But like I know how to juke it or like outplay the boss. That it's like the difficulty is more so like tied to like my choice of um like pretty much putting it into these stages when I want by using certain elements. You know what I mean? Like
That's
tying the
awesome.
elements to. I think that'd be really cool. Where it's like, oh, I could get a 30-second kill if I'm like perfect, you know. But at the same time, like if I make a mistake, I might just get one shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So, being able to like basically have trade-offs where you're able to increase, or I should say get a better speed run time, um, while it also being much more difficult, essentially, right?
Right. Like I could make the boss easier by like never like thawing him. Like if it's the ice boss, like let's say I just never turn him into water, right? Like the water could be like he's a stronger it'd be hard, like slightly harder, right? So it's like if I just never turn them into water and I just kill them 100%, and this is just certain bosses. But I'm saying you could almost like make each boss easy if you wanted to, but it's just going to take way longer to kill. So it's like you incorporate the different elements to almost tune the difficulty of the boss. Like if I want to speed run it, it's like, okay, this phase, this is how you activate this phase with this element, or if I use this element, this activates this phase. And I
That's
can
cool.
kill it way faster, but it's like it's just a matter of if I get hit by one of his abilities or get hit by something, game over. Got to restart.
Yeah. So does that kind of turn the boss into a glass cannon, like AKA its defense or health is lower, but its attack is much stronger?
I'd say case by case. Like certain ones, I could see that. Like the ice water thing, I could see that being the case. Like the water state could be like a more difficult version of him, and like the ice state is like his normal phase. But other ones, it could almost just be like you have elemental strength against it, and it could almost force you, like how there's weaknesses and strengths. It could almost force you into a matchup that like you have it flops to your weakness. You know what I mean? So like
Totally.
let's say the thing is fire. So the weakness to fire, I guess even fire is weak to fire, right?
Yeah, like a fire
So it's like
attack
it
is
could
weak.
almost like so it could almost like flop to your weakness. So then it's like that could even add to difficulty. So you're hitting less on it. So even little things like that, I think would be really cool that you'd have to pay attention to.
Yeah. So are you
Um,
saying that, just to clarify, are you proposing that this would be instead of like a system where you're actually selecting like which mechanics are turned on and therefore giving like a difficulty score or like a rating for each boss before the boss fight happens? Because that would be like one idea to change to like augment the boss's difficulty. Are you like talking about replacing that with what element you're using, or are you talking about like even like having that on top of the difficulty setting?
yeah, I mean, I'm just proposing like either an alternative or just like another, like whether it be, oh, you select the difficulties, quote quote, like how you're mentioning with like tombs and whatnot. This is more of just another option of like, okay, if I want to, it's almost like on the fly, like, okay, I've turned this boss fight, you know, very hard off the bat because I've already turned him into his water phase, but
Sure.
I can also finish it very fast, type of thing, without having to like, oh, I have to pre-select these mechanics. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. I think we can
Like
build some
it's
of that
almost like
stuff
it
in.
happens on the fly.
Yeah. Like as we get more and more specific on how that could work, like I think we could totally kind of have that be like an emergent thing as well, like something that just comes out of the way the different mechanics work, which is going to be exciting because when you add all these mechanics, it gets really complicated quickly, and there will be things that we don't even realize that you can do because of the way that all the mechanics combine, and then like players can discover kind of like methods to basically get like a speed run time down. Which, by the way, I think we should definitely, as part of this kind of boss rework system, or like adding boss mechanics, is we need to introduce a system that tracks your time killing the boss, and then we need to have like that tracked per player so that we can do some kind of leaderboard, because I think that'd be super cool.
We
That
already
would be.
kind of have that for player playtime. Um, it's just not being tracked for actual fighting in this instance. It's just being tracked for the amount of time they spend in game. But
Yeah,
you could probably use that same feature to do something like that.
totally. You got anything else
But
techno
yeah,
on
but that's
boss
just like
mechanics?
my. Yeah, that was just kind of like my idea. Like, I think it'd be really cool to like utilize elements more, like it swaps. You know, that was kind of my big
Yeah,
thing with when I was talking to March about it. I was like, that'd be really cool if a lot of it was like, oh, you really have to pay attention, or like it just utilizes it more. So like it even just swap to like you have to bring double boards. I think that'd be. another cool thing.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, should we move on to the next thing? I mean, we could talk about. I did want to ask you guys real quick about boss variants, aka like I've always had this idea in the back of my head of like there being like a grandfather maw instead of like a Ember maw with a beard. You know, that's like harder to fight. That's like deeper in the volcano or something like. And then there's the shiny boss idea. There's the idea of like different mechanics that only happen when the boss is cursed, aka when you get it as like a death task. What do you guys think about those ideas, or do you have any other ideas?
So I'm on board with it. Funny enough, I've been thinking about like what would happen if you get a shiny boss in the middle of doing your death task. Because if I recall, the shiny variants would be double the stats, right? Like, I don't remember like exact details, but like double the enemy's stats, and then of course curse scales up to you. So it's like, oh boy, what's it gonna be like now at that point? But I feel like it'd be very fun to be able to combine the two, in some sort of way.
Yeah,
Dynama, a level 140 Ember Maw, like that, it would be very fun because you already, if you look at old school RuneScape, you have level 3,000 bosses that you're fighting, and you have a max level of what, like 127 for your combat, something like that. Um, so it'd be a fun and unique way to add both the Death Curse and shiny variants at the same time. But I also love the idea of having like a grandfather maw. It'd just be something unique to that. So
yeah. Do you guys have any ideas about mechanics that could, like a special mechanic that could activate when the boss is a shiny boss? Like, I'll just give you one example. Like, let's say you get a shiny boss, and that gives it an extra mechanic, which would be like, like some kind of like, shiny blitz or something is one idea for it. And it's like, like little stars going across the screen, and you have to like, and if one hits you, it does like insane damage to you or something. That's like one idea, but like that could be an example of like something that makes shiny bosses different. And there could also be like a cursed specific mechanic where if a boss is cursed, it gets like the cursed bomb or something added as like as an additional mechanic to it. That might be another way to make it more challenging and actually like more unique versus just doubling the stats. And we could even double the stats on top of that, or but do you guys have any idea like what would be a good like shiny specific mechanic or a cursed specific mechanic, and on a greater level, what do you think about that idea in general of doing that?
so I love that idea personally. Um in terms of like a shiny mechanic, I can see it shooting out. I remember we were talking about special attacks before. I could see it shooting out lava towards the player, and you have to move out of the range of that attack. You could even have it just like shoot out from super far off the screen, so then the only indicator is either like exclamation points that pop up on the sides of the screen, or even just a shadow that appears across the field, and then you have to go into a certain pathway in order to dodge that attack. Um, and then for the death one, like I think your suggestion of like a death bomb or a curse bomb in this instance would be very fitting. Um, I don't really see any other difference, at least for Embermaw. I could see that being the case. Definitely something to workshop for other variants as well.
So would all the shinies have the same? Like, are we thinking like the shiny is a mechanic? Like each one would have this mechanic, or are we like, or would you want to tune it to boss and or mob type?
I think it would be cool to, yeah, my initial idea was just there's one type of mechanic that's like the shiny mechanic that gets added to whichever boss you're fighting based on if it's a shiny or not, right? Like the shiny ice boss would use the same shiny mechanic that just gets added to its like mechanic, its list of mechanics. That same mechanic
I think it'd be cool if it spawn. Like, sorry.
go
I was
ahead,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
if it spawns like clones, it'd be
Ooh,
like a cool shiny mechanic. Like
Ooh,
it would
clones.
or like summons, clones or summons, something like that, where like two or three of them would appear. Maybe they're regular versions. I don't know,
Like the
or maybe they're all
small,
shiny versions.
like the small little PAL version.
Yeah, yeah, almost like it's minions. Like it summons minions to help with fight you
Yeah,
type thing. Like I think all
that'd be cool. Now, would they
I
be
think that'd be a
shiny
cool
as
like
well?
shiny. That's yeah, that's what I was wondering. Because I mean, I
Yeah.
guess I mean, if you have to kill each of them, right? Then maybe not. But unless they're, because I wonder like how they would scale. Like if they're just normal, then it's probably fine. But if they're all like shine or like enhanced stats, then I guess it would have to be tested to see how hard it would be to deal with like three little minions on top of you with the shiny version.
Yeah, I think that'd be
But
super cool. One idea too, just to build on your idea, is that like the little shiny minions could, like minions can do all kinds of cool mechanics, but one is like the kind of like the for I mean this isn't for lack of a better term, like suicide bomber mechanic where like the little shiny minions could be like all sparkly and they're like coming towards you, and when they get to you they kind of like blow up into little, they like evaporate into little stars and stuff, but like that does like a lot of damage to you. Or maybe it could be kind of like in Smash Brothers where you get a hammer and you have like stars coming off you and you're kind of like invincible and you can do damage. It could be something like that where like the minions are invincible and you just have to like avoid them basically. That's another. And they could also, like, after they're done chasing you around, like they maybe are only summoned for like, let's say, 15 seconds or something, and they just evaporate away when they're done, like into shiny sparkles or something. But stuff like that is kind of what you're thinking.
yeah, no, I think that'd be really cool. Like I'm thinking of like you're saying, like this mechanic is like something that could be utilized for all shiny, like or like I think it'd be hard, like an Ember Maw shiny, like it'd be hard to, you don't want probably some sort of fire thing if you're gonna do it, but I think like a cloning or summoning of that mob would be pretty cool, and that could kind of fit with everybody.
I agree too, and
Um,
like it could also help too with like learning the mechanics, because I think one of the most frustrating things with like trying out a new boss, especially if it's a hard boss, is like you have to like know what the mechanics are, right? Like you have to have like a fair telegraph or a fair like signal that like the attack's going to happen, and like understand what's happening. Like you don't want to like go into a fight and mechanics are happening and you don't understand like why you died, basically. Like you don't know what's going on. There's just a bunch of like random stuff happening. If it's unclear to the player, that's like not going to be fun, basically. So like one of the advantages of using the same shiny mechanic on different shiny versions is that like once you learn the shiny mechanic, whatever it is, you go fight another shiny boss, and when the shiny mechanic comes out, you like understand what's going on, I guess. So if they could be similar or even like the same, but they feel fresh because it's combined with all the different mechanics, I think that'd be cool.
uh, something you. Oh, okay. I remember now. So with the whole, I remember this was a few Q&As ago, but I remember we were talking about like either a shiny variant or whatnot tied to like with the death carbon and the death task, right?
Yeah.
So, and we're like, oh, a random player could just like appear on the map and like fight it when you're trying to do it. But when you have a death task, other players can't see that you have the death task. So wouldn't there be like a way? Because like on my screen, I'd see the death carbon on the mob. You know what I mean? But if somebody else comes to that mob, they're not gonna see the death carbon, or or if they were to kill it in front of me, they get gold and I get the death carbon.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if there's like a way to tie that variant to being on task, because you're the only one who sees it. So even if someone were to randomly show up, like there shouldn't be a way for them to. I guess they could try to, if you summoned it by killing it and it reappeared. I mean, I guess they could try to annoy you and fight it, unless unless it's like unless you're on task with that particular mob, like there's some way to code it that way that you couldn't touch it.
Yeah, we could do it
Which
that
could
way
be
where it's kind of shared. Are you talking about like bosses versus shiny bosses versus any other variant? They're all kind of like that same entity there in the boss room. That
right.
we,
It's the same
yeah,
entity, so it's like technically anybody could show up and it's like they would see it, even though you're the one who like summoned it, type of thing.
yeah. I mean, there
Um,
are upsides to doing that way because there's can be more of a community thing. But like, I also kind of favor the strategy of doing like instance boss rooms in this case, where you're not going to get like crashed while you're doing your boss. What do you think about that?
I think that's something I've been
well,
advocating for so long too.
I'm totally for that, but like with this, the whole like shiny, like wouldn't it just have like very high like or low odds of it happening? So I'd almost feel like, or how would you plan? Like, there's just a
Ooh,
chance
I
that the
know.
instance is gonna have this boss summon, or
So I know how like another game has done it, aka OSRS, the game we all love. But it's like the Echo Boss mechanic where you just get an Echo Orb and then you like re-enter with the Echo Orb, or you use the Echo Orb on the boss, or whatever it is. I forgot exactly. I think it's you enter the boss arena with like the special item, which the item
yeah,
itself
yeah.
is like a rare drop basically, and then you like enter and you're able to like fight the shine. I guess that's just one. That's one way we could do it, but what do you think about that?
That'd be cool. Or if it was like a drop that you can get, like if you like that particular thing you kill, it's like a very high drop, and then it's like you said, then you bring that item back in to the room, and then I don't know if it just immediately summons it or turns it into that version, but
Yeah,
that'd be a cool way to do it.
and it could be like a separate instance room that's just only you. You yourself are the only person that can see it, basically, and you're the only one that can go in that room. Or we can, create like a party system where you go in with a party. That would be another idea. But do you think these items should be tradable, like the items that summon the shiny boss, or not?
I would say
Um,
no. Just just because like even though I don't participate in player to player trading in general, unless I'm like giving out supplies or like giving something to someone that I've been chatting to on Discord, I think making these boss items untradeable would incentivize players to actually grind out the bosses a bit more because like if you look at the tablets from Desert Treasure 2 in OSRS, you have to earn them yourself. You can't trade them in order to attach them to your Ring of Shadows. Um, that's my thought at least. So
yeah, but it's not like it's an upgrade to your weapon. Like if it was like or an upgrade to your like your Tabis or upgrade to something, I'd say sure. But I mean, I think tradable is fine. I mean, it's probably going to be a high price on something like that. I, so like, let's say you go in with a party. Does everybody have a like is only one person getting the drop, or is it going to be like I know you proposed it could be like everybody gets something.
Yeah, we want to have some kind of like loot share and boss scaling system that makes the boss more strong if there are multiple players. And there's like a formula that basically determines that, or even like adds the number of entities that get spawned per mechanic. So, you know, like, uh, like maybe like more minions get spawned if there's more players, that kind of thing. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
but I think this goes to a stronger divide in the in the world of any kind of game like this, which is that there's certain players that want to engage in like trading and there's other players that would prefer to like stand alone, if you know what I mean. Um, and so I've kind of workshopped this idea of having like a trade restriction thing that you can put on your account, and you have to put it on right when you start your account. And you can take it off. But like if you don't take it off and you have that trade restriction, you have like a really, we've talked about this. It's basically Iron Man mode, right? For Pow Vista, we
yeah,
talked about it last week, and I've workshopped it, and I think I have a pretty cool idea for it. where when you first start an account, there's like a little like secret doorway in your house where you go down to the basement, and there's like this almost like a weird sanctum where there's like a gosh, I forgot. Like I'm trying to find the doc. For some reason, I don't think I saved it or something because it's like it's a blank doc on my Google Docs. I must have put it somewhere else. But basically, there's like this little pool where you can go in to like take off the restrictions and like cleanse yourself of like the oath you took or whatever. But it would be like this little place where you have to be like a moderately like you'd have to know it's there to go down there and like set that restriction on your account. And if you do that, then you have a special restricted account, and you can add additional restrictions and any combination of restrictions. So you can add like the hardcore restriction, you can add the PvP world only restriction, and for that you'd have to like be in a PvP world when you do it. You could also add the one we're talking about is like trade restriction, right? And bank restriction, so not being able to use the bank. I think if we had that, which is pretty easy to put in the game, and I want to put it in soon, having the ability to have those accounts that are like special and unique and don't trade, I think that helps like kind of solve the debate of like whether or not the shiny thing should be traded or not. What do you guys think about that?
I am all for it.
Yeah, I would never do it, but I'm 100% like that option,
Now, with that in
is
mind,
good.
In regards to like the ability to choose PvP world only as well, this is like a genuine question, not to take away from what you're saying, Techno. Would you be able to log out and switch to that world to select it, or do you have to like log in for the first time into a PvP world in order to select it?
Yeah, you would be able to. So like before you've exited the player house, we'd have to like change the way the game works a little bit, where a new account basically is in like a special state where they're able to put on those restrictions. And yeah, to answer your question, like you would be able to switch worlds, and like we'd have to just guard it against like being able to smuggle things onto your account before you've added the restrictions.
Yeah.
Like for example, like one exploit would be like let's say it was only just leaving the player house. Obviously, someone could come in and like drop an item for you or something before you add the restrictions, and that would like corrupt your account. But yeah, to answer your question, it wouldn't be like you get to where you want to set the PvP world restriction and it's like, oh, sorry, you got to make a new account because you logged into a non-PvP world. No, like we'd allow you to like switch over to the PvP world, and we'd like make it part of the flow where it'd be pretty simple to. It might even be like you just press a button and now you're in the PvP world. Which, by the way, guys, we're aware of the very annoying part of the game right now, which is when you want to switch worlds, you're like waiting like a whole minute, and you're like, it's telling you you're already logged in. You're already logged in. I personally hate that about the game right now, and it makes me lose sleep at night. So just know we're working on a technical solution. The reason that exists is is to avoid the bug, which is basically you leave your account on one world and then you log into another world, and then your other account's still on the other world, and then it dies and drops its items and you still have them in the new world. We're going to fix that bug so that we can hop worlds faster. Just a side note, but do you guys want to continue? Do we have other topics we want to discuss or more boss stuff?
I actually have another topic, but Techno, do you have any other boss things that you want to mention before I bring it up?
No, I think the elemental swap thing was like the big thing I wanted to bring up.
Okay. For Hype City, I know you mentioned it being an electric location. However, I think it should also have steel. It'd be very fitting for not only the theme, but it would allow for a bit more. I'm trying to think of the term here. Creativity. There we go. A bit more creativity for the location as well. I'm also thinking of Hype City being more of a central hub of sorts. Kind of think of like Lumio City in Pokemon. Like that's the quote unquote central hub of its region. But that at the end of the day would be completely up to you, Stephen. But I definitely see it being a bit more of a mixed location where you have steel and electric, um, just throughout the city itself.
That's cool, and it fits kind of in with the basically the wildering forest to the Tory village of Hype City. Sorry, I'm communicating this analogy poorly, but the the thing that's attached to Hype City is Iron Bridge, which is
Yeah.
a big steel structure with steel type mobs throughout it, underneath the bridge that you travel around, or like attached adjacent to the big bridge, and it will take you across the ocean to like the northern area of Pow Vista above Hype City across the ocean. Basically, like Iron Bridge divides OG Island and Tory Village. Let me see if I can just like pull up I'll just forward over the map into the chat here. But yeah, that's you're right on with that. Yeah, like steel and electric already kind of have a lot in common, right? There, metal conducts electricity type of thing. So yeah, like we want like high rise building aesthetic in Hype City. We want it like a modern looking city essentially. That's the idea behind it. Is that kind of what you're envisioning as well?
Yeah, that was just one thing I've been wanting to mention because I know everyone that I've talked to in regards to the number of certain element type NPCs there are have wanted more steel because we only have knights right now. And then Dianima today was mentioning having more death-based NPCs as well, since we only have zombies and skeletons as the main death NPCs. Um, and that also made me think, oh, I should probably bring up just the steel aspects in general.
Yeah, and if you guys look in the chat, across Iron Bridge is Phantom District, which is supposed to be like a death type city. Right across from Hype City, it's almost like the more poorer slums compared to like Hype City being kind of like a affluent New York City type thing. Phantom District, you can think of it as like like inner city, but like gang activity type area with like, and like maybe it kind of looks like a graveyard in certain areas, and it like kind of gives that aesthetic of like spooky haunted town, where there's lots of poor people. That's one idea. And like maybe not poor people, but like maybe like zombified type people. That's kind of that's the vision for that, because yeah, we need more death NPCs as well. And by the way, if you guys look at the map, it says Cinderfall where Icefall is. I think we've explained why that is in the past, but it's because we changed Cinderfall to Icefall.
Yeah, I like the idea for Phantom District. Like I'm excited for these future locations, to say the least.
Totally. Well, what do we got next here to discuss?
That's all I really had in mind in terms of those topics. I know we still have the sheets from the very first Q&A just to finish out.
Yeah, and
But I'm not sure. Go ahead.
Sorry, I kind of jumped in there, but yeah, and I also have more we can talk about regarding these topics. Let's look at the chat here. So Joyce just joined in. What is the next area being worked on? Next area being worked on is fog tunnels. You can imagine that as a underground water. Okay, in Minecraft when like you can go down underwater and like build glass to kind of like protect yourself from the water, and you can have like a little glass enclosed area where you can see the water through it, and you can see fish like swimming around you. Think like Jar Jar Binks' Otogunga City, which is underneath Naboo in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Kind of that vibe a little bit. You're like in an underground aquarium type world. Talked a lot about this in the last QA, but that's the next area that is in the pipeline. And that at the end leads you into Hype City, which is the modern city that we were just talking about. That's electric type. And I'm excited to have certain areas where you can like skate on the rooftops and stuff, and like hop from one rooftop to another. And even in a perfect world, there are certain limitations for this, but being able to like see the players that are like down at the bottom at the street while you're like on a high-rise building, I think might be cool too. But Raisu says, and I don't think he's not saying this exactly, maybe, but Techno City is what he says. Oh, it is going to be Techno City. But I thought he was like recommending we name it Techno City, which, by the way, actually sounds way cooler than Hype City. I right now vote that we call it Techno City.
I agree.
I mean,
like
that would be
a lot.
freaking sick. And even spelling
Spell
it the
it
way
like
your name is.
techno.
I mean,
Oh.
Techno. Would you be weirded out if we like stole your name for the name of a city?
I wouldn't. No, I think it would be sick. I sorry, I'm just.
We got to upvote
It'd
or
be
downvote.
cool. I'm curious if there's any way, because I mean, maybe they like it the other way. I think the first K, if it was flopped backwards,
Oh, that's pretty
because
sick.
that's how I've always pictured my name is like TAK backwards KNO. I think that looks really cool. I think if there was some way to swap the K, that would be a cool way to look. The name would look.
My computer doesn't have that character when I like look it up on Google. It's just like a square. But I know exactly. So like that'd be super cool. And the symbol for the city could be like the two Ks that are back to back, kind of like Team Rocket. Or wait, am I thinking Team Rocket? I don't know. But I'm mocking something up right now. I'll put it in the chat. But okay, go ahead, Techno. You had something you want to say?
No. It's basically I just think that would be a really cool symbol with the double K.
You know what? It does
and
look
like you were saying, like
it looks kind of like Tanko when you put it like that. But tell me if you guys think it looks too much like Tanko. What do you think? Do you think it looks good? Do you think it looks okay like that? Oh, there you go. Freaking Alex has it right there.
Wow. There you go.
I think that would be cool, and it could be that KK or that might be a little weird, but like that could be, you know how you're saying for short, like it could be like little like symbols around like posters or something, or like a graffiti on the wall, like it's some sort of like symbolism of like there's a I don't know. I'm just like
I agree. We don't want to go
like,
KKK. We don't want to do 3Ks. Only 2Ks.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but
right,
you know,
Crazy Quilters Club.
Yeah, like KK Slider, you know, like 2Ks. But yeah, Techno City and having EDM music playing would be super, super cool. Dude, yeah, I Techno, I hope you aren't feeling too overly hyped up right now that we're using your name for the city. I hope you're on board with this. Ooh, Alex has a cool symbol here that he put. That's actually pretty cool.
I think it's Russian. Thinking about it now.
Yeah, it looks super cool. We'll come up with a finalized thing, but I mean, having a cool spelling of the name that kind of has a built-in logo, like, sounds super awesome to me. Mm-hmm. So what other ideas do you guys have for that? For Techno City, which sounds just so much better than Hype City. That's just my personal opinion.
I can still see it being a bit more of a central hub in a sense. So that's where I can see like a lot more player activity in the future once players get to that point. It could be like the main hub of the southern half of the world, and then the northern half would be from Phantom District on.
Yeah, and there we can have so many cool kind of like electric themed, kind of like how we have ice tiles that do specific tile mechanics. You could have like you know, there's like there's a lot of Pokemon electric themed tile mechanics, like where it sends you spinning in one direction until you stop, or teleport tiles where you teleport to another area. Ooh, I like that concept art, dude. Um, yeah, that's I'm pretty excited about this. Guys, I gotta I'm gonna be listening, but I just gotta take a quick I have my AirPods in, but I'll be right back. Feel free to continue.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
I can definitely see like Techno City. I'm gonna refer to it as that now. It's just way too good a name. Um, being the place to learn the poison skill. I know we talked about that in the past, but like it's definitely one of those places where even like the fog tunnels would be a good place, but learning the poison skill and starting the quest there in Technicity would be a great pipeline of backtracking to the fog tunnels to go to that lab that was brought up last Q&A. Just having a bit more of like a reason to use the hub city in a sense.
Yeah, I think it'd be really cool if there's like just a shady character, and he's got an energy drink in his hands, and he's just like, doing this weird walking back and forth, like, yeah, you got any OG chicken on you?
Oh God,
Like,
not the OG chicken. You're evil for
yeah,
that.
he,
Evil.
he needs his fix, like he's like, I need some. And then you're like, what's that? And then that breaks out into like the quest. The quest is like, oh, here, let me teach you about energy drink.
Let me teach you the true recipes.
I'm back, by the way. Hey, guys, I on the subject of OG chicken, I've got to bring up something I forgot to tell you guys when we were talking about the restricted accounts. Okay, so I think there should also be an area restriction. And then
Oh no.
on top of that, even further beyond that, a shiny area restriction. So what that means is you basically have to like get. Okay, so the area restricted account would be like you have to get all of the normal loot drops from the NPC before the gate unlocks. You know how like right now you just kill like 3 goblins and you get through? But like imagine you have to get like the pal, the egg, and the board and the hoodie to get through each gate. But then if you do the shiny area restriction, you have to get like all the shinies to progress. And obviously there'd be like some crazy reward, like a super sick badge / hoodie to show that you're like a shiny area restricted account. Okay. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, just thinking about that hurts.
Shiny area restricted, no bank, no trading, PvP world only account. That's what's on the that's what we got to
Don't
do.
forget the hardcore.
Oh yeah, hardcore too. And the other
Oh
idea is so the
man.
restrictions don't get too complicated, like having too many of them, is that it kind of builds on each one. So like you could be hardcore, or like the upgraded hardcore is like PvP world only hardcore, or you can be area restricted, but the upgrade on that is shiny area restricted. And then the other one is you can be trade restricted, but then the upgrade on that is bank restricted. You can't use the bank. So that's kind of how. So there really only be 3. Wait, did I miss one? I think that's only 3, right? Yeah. I'm not looking at notes here, so but yeah, that way there's like 3 clear ones. Anyway, that's just the idea. What's the
Thinking about the item restrictions. Oh man. I hate that I would do that to myself too.
Yeah, Fake Guru's
Now
got
the
it.
only question is, would you have to complete Skellefriend before you can go onto the volcano?
No, but you would. Well, yeah, that's the question though. Skelly friend, what would those items? How would the? I think that wouldn't count because there's no gate associated with Skelly friend. There's no like little. I call it a gate, but it's those little like anger icons that are blinking with the big number in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, gate is like a pretty reasonable term for the time being.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just thinking about that when you mentioned the shiny. I'm like, oh God, I mean, 1 in 100,000 just for the shiny hoodie.
Yeah. I think Raisu is like the person who single-handedly uses the most GIFs in the world to communicate thoughts, and he's very efficient with it. He's just posted a Rocket League gameplay GIF and saying with skateboard. I don't know if this is like a suggestion for like a mini game where you're kicking around a ball, but like I like that idea. What do you guys think?
Oh man, that would be very interesting to say the least.
We could start with just
Very
introducing the
tough.
mechanic as like you can bump around that ball on OG Island. Actually, I don't even know. Is there a ball still there? You know
I
that
don't
beach
think
ball?
so. Let me go check. I'm in game right now.
Okay.
If I would stop getting put into server response,
Oh no.
I would check.
Wait, so are you
Been
do you
like
get kicked
that.
to the are you getting kicked to the loading screen a lot?
Yes.
Oh no.
I
Dude,
noticed.
maybe we
Yeah,
should have a quick
like it'll.
conversation about just like the performance of the game right now. Can you guys are you currently affected by server lag? And it would be yes or no.
Nope.
Okay, it looks like some people are not affected by server lag, but March, you are right now, right? Like you're getting kicked to the.
Yes.
And by the way, I would include that as like server lag, like getting kicked to the main menu often. So you are
Yeah.
March. Oh, I hope it's not a problem only with your account.
Well, I noticed it like when I was fighting skeletons that it happens. So it's not like every so often happening. I'd say like maybe every 5 minutes or so it may happen, but
Dang. Well, okay, we will figure that out. Maybe we shouldn't litigate it too much here on the stream, but like March, we're gonna get that solved for you. For those of you who don't know, we condensed. We took all of March's unique chicken babies and we turned them all into one chicken baby that has been duplicated, like a chicken clone. Yeah, March just showed everyone. It's all on one slot in the bank, so it shouldn't be causing lag, but. You never know, March. March, you really push the boundaries, so we don't know. We may have like not, accounted for what's happening to your account right now, and I apologize for the kicks. Always double check
it is what it is.
your internet connection, but I'm guessing it's not your internet connection. I'm guessing there's a problem with that's going on that we
I
got to
wouldn't
figure
be
out.
surprised because I started stacking my pals again during my shiny zombie and skeleton grind, which
Uh-oh.
I did finish the shiny zombie in the end.
Ooh,
I'm on
congratulations.
skeletons because of that. Thank you. I am just like the skeletons are the stopping point now. I've gotten a total of 6 shiny skeleton boards without a hoodie yet.
Ah,
Like I have the standard hoodie, of course, but I haven't gotten the shiny hoodie.
dang. But you're
Let's
so
see.
close, dude. And like I think there should be some kind of like you get a shiny OG Island collection and you get some kind of special shiny OG hoodie or something. What do you think?
I mean, I still like the Powfinity hoodie idea from a while back.
Yeah, and did that include you got to remind me, did that include area specific ones or is that just for completing the whole
It,
thing?
I mean, it's for completing the whole thing, but I think having location specific ones would be really fun.
Yeah. Maybe it could even like kind of work your way up like each one combines at the end into the final Powfinity hoodie. I think that'd be super cool. But hey, but just to I wanted to since you shared how you recently completed the shiny zombie achievement, and I wanted to do this at the beginning of the show, but I just forgot to ask everyone. But I like learning about like kind of the recent achievements in the game, and I just wanted to give everyone a chance to share things that you've achieved recently in the game. Like I think Techno got a new set of shinies. Techno, what
I
shiny
did,
set did
yeah.
you recently get?
I got the Gobbledies though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you called it that. I was like, what is that? The Volgobbles. Yeah, the
It's
Volgobs, right?
the Volgobs, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I also
I actually,
saw that we have like how many level 100 battle passes It's a lot. And
I think
I
it's
just got I
five
just got
now.
I just got it today. Yeah,
you got today. Congrats, dude. That's crazy. Um,
5 level 100s for the current battle pass.
It was a long time coming. I was like, I got to wrap it up. I got to get there for all of the boys that got there. So I was like, I'll get this done.
it's awesome.
Um, but I've compiled a list. Like, it's been a week now since Icefall has dropped, right? I have a list of everybody who's gotten the first. I'm only missing 2.
Ooh,
So
I might be
the
able to
first
share.
mammoth,
Go on.
from my understanding, was Tenoshi.
That's right.
The first shiny mammoth was Seaberry.
That's correct.
Uh, the first shiny penguin was Popo. The first shiny snow fox was Popo. I don't know
Again.
which. I don't know which was the regular fox and penguin. I haven't seen any announcements of those. The first cable gas, it was Leggy, from my understanding, and then I had the first shiny cable gas, and then the first taco was me, and then the first shiny taco was also me.
That's great. So did you rush tacos right when the update came out?
Well, I was trying to defend cable gas, but everybody apparently decided to do my world because there was like 10 people. So I was like, you know what? I'm trying, and so people keep getting last hits on it. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the taco. Let's see if anybody's doing this. So I dropped like 5 mil on the tacos and just started popping open them, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just speed run this real quick. I ended up getting like 4 shiny Taco Pals from that as well.
Wow. Were you selling were you opening the boxes and selling them back to the shop?
I mean, I made some money back. Sure. It definitely, like, you have to get very lucky. I will say the odds are probably fine as is. You definitely don't. I mean, I sold all my excess back, like my excess, like,
Boards?
boards and hoodies, and I just kept a couple for myself. But
So were you
no,
running
it's
back and
definitely
forth?
like you're. Yeah. I was just literally just running back and forth the whole time. But it was definitely not like I for sure lost money. It's not like I made money, but if you do get lucky, if you get at least 9 hoodies, you technically make your money back. But that's very unrealistic that you get 9 hoodies out of 20 boxes.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
But no, it's close. I made a decent amount back because all of those pals that I got before, each of them had a shiny hoodie. So I was actually very lucky that I
That's
rolled
crazy.
the hoodie on them. So I was happy with that. That was definitely really cool. What else? I'm sorry, I have my list of achievements. What else happened? Yeah, we're at the 100 pass. Raisu actually claimed the second shiny cable gas a couple days ago.
That's awesome. Wow.
And I got the third shiny cable gas like a couple hours ago.
No way. Were you going for it?
No, I took a break from it because I was working on something. And I was like, you know what? I'll come back. And like 20 eggs later, I got it again. So
that's awesome.
It's pretty funny.
Wow. Congrats.
So do you have the info? So like, do you know who potentially has the penguin and snow fox? So the first
we technically have that info in the database. We don't currently have like a command set up to like search for that because the database is kind of big, with like a bunch of information. But like I know the information's there, and we can come up with some kind of cool system. In fact, I'm open to your guys' thoughts on this for like basically a system that shows this information to other players. Like, a high scores type thing or a leaderboard that's maybe on the website or even built into the game in a certain way. Like maybe there can be like a little section that loads in the same info that goes to the website. But I don't know, like basically we have that information there, but like I don't have that information on me. Basically, I'd have to like go. It's like down in like a basement. Basically, I have to go search around and find it.
Yeah. You'd have to sift through it to find it. Yeah.
Yeah. But we can build like a command that looks it up, and if that it sounds like that information is valuable, so we can come up with kind of a cool way to share that with everyone. Like it could just be a plotbot command. It could also be a I don't know, like a website leaderboard. Do you guys have any ideas on that?
Well, like with me, like when I'm going for shinies. Sorry, Marshall, I'll let you go in a second. Like it'd be nice to know if it was already claimed. You know what I mean? Like especially with like new area drops. I'm like, did somebody already get it yet? Especially for the shinies more than the regulars. Like if I get the number one regular, that's cool. But it's like the big goal is like, can you get the number one shiny?
Yeah,
but it would be nice if there was a way to check, like, oh, has anybody gotten it yet?
Like, should it be a whole like world? Like, imagine if every single person logged in the game, when the person gets the number one shiny, like everyone gets that message at the same time that like Techno got the first shiny cable ghast or something. That'd be an interesting way.
Personally, I'd like it, but I know like people are like, oh, well, I mean, it could just be disabled on PvP World if needed, but I think it would be fine. People are like, oh, what if you get this cool drop in this area? What if people would just kill you on the PvP World? But yeah. I'm like, I think like global announcements would be sick. Like everybody on your world, like if you get like some shiny, like this is just any shiny, because I'm like, oh, wouldn't it just clutter the world? Okay, how often are people getting shinies? You know what I mean? So it's like you're only seeing this pop up like every once in a while, and I think that would be really cool.
We could add a toggle too to turn it off if people find it annoying, but like I think most people would want it.
Yeah, 100%. I would totally. I'd be like, oh, that's hype, or like I'd be like, oh, yo, congrats, or go find them, and that's just like a hype moment.
Agreed.
I would be 100% for it. I think that'd be really cool to have some sort of like announcement or global like way that everyone knows.
I agree. Let's read the chat here. I think a leaderboard for all skills, one for regular Pow Dex completion, shiny completion, top 10 regular pals, and top 10 shiny pals. Oh, that's another thing, is like pal leaderboards would be super cool. Like imagine if you can see all this, you can see like a shiny cable ghast pal leaderboard, and it shows, it could also show like, you could organize it by like who, like basically hatch number, but you could also organize it by like overall stats, and to see like who has the highest level goblin pal or who has the highest level penguin pal. That would be a pretty cool thing. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, go ahead, sorry. You go, March. I'll let you go first.
I'd be pretty interested in seeing something like that.
Yeah. I would be down. I mean, I don't know if it necessarily needs to be per pal type. I think it would just be cool if there was like a, like everybody else, just like a leaderboard. So it's like who has the top pal, or like, and then it just say like what that pal is and like what their level is. But I mean, you could have like, oh, top 10 of each pal type.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, basically, all it would require it to like, if someone did want to filter it by pal type, is we could just like have a little filter thing to do that if you wanted to do that. But I agree. I think that'd be super cool. Also having like a bigger leaderboard on the website where you can find where you rank up all the way down. If you're like, a little lower leveled and you're not like on the actual top 5 or top 10, you could see how close you are. I think would be pretty cool. And like not having to constantly do the plotbot command, which it looks like a lot of people have figured out how to DM plotbot. So good for you guys. If you guys don't know, you can DM plotbot if you don't want to publicly show that you are looking up those leaderboards, comparing your stats to other people. You can
only personally,
if you don't want to brag.
6 months to find that out.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited about the things we're working on and to get more content in the game. I just want to put it out there that I think one of our biggest issues right now is just the lack of content for Pow Vista, and we need to increase our velocity of content. Like, I think my ideal release schedule for Pow Vista would be like if I could just like turn on a switch and choose what it's going to be. I think a new area every week would be like amazing. Now we're not close to being there yet, but I think we can get there if we just get better as a team and have better tools, and and also if we're able to not have catastrophic bugs along the way. I mean, how cool would it be if like Pow Vista had a new area at least every month, if not every week? We want to get to that cadence. We want to get to where we have more and more content coming out. So yeah, just putting that out there. And by the way, guys, I have if anyone's interested in if anyone here is an artist, especially, we have this cool little tool that I built on the side this week that allows you to paint characters with and it's like just like a website. Like you just open up the website and you can like paint the character in 3D and play animations and stuff and see what it would look like. And this could also be for like painting shiny variants as well, which I know Techno has some ideas for a shiny variant for adjusting the shiny variant of Cable Gas. But I'm gonna make that tool available to you guys pretty soon, and it's so easy that even like my kids can use it. Like it's super easy to use. You just like pick a color and click on the model where you want to paint it. We're gonna get that tool out to you guys pretty soon, so that those of you who are more artistically minded can try your hand at like designing or reskinning characters. We're excited to share that with you guys. Raisu's got
that would be amazing.
Raisu's got the ghillie suit, the ghillie suit. Jeff, yeah, Techno. Yeah, man, I'll send to you first, because I saw that you were working on that idea.
Yeah, I'll DM you. I was because I don't have any things that to like pretty much like you're mentioning, like to recolor or do anything like that. I don't have any programs or anything. I originally was trying to have I was trying to use AI to help it recolor it for me, right? I need to send you the abominations that it was creating. It was actually just the craziest like pictures would come out. I was like, I'm like, dude, I just want you to change the brown. Just change this brown to this color. And then it just started mutating. Like the hood, like the things are turning into like little aliens. Like I have all these little Cable Gas alien creature things that were like,
dude, if you can dig it up, just really put it. Funny. If you can dig it up right now, I recommend you just put it in the chat, bro. But anyway,
yeah, I'll post them. They're really funny.
Yeah, nothing like an AI abomination. Yeah. So I'm excited to let you guys use that tool, and then I have another tool also that we've made to help workshop tile mechanics, and basically, it's this cool little tool where you can basically code in what the tile mechanic will do. And it's kind of like like those early versions of games where everything's like kind of gray blocks and there's no textures or anything, but you can kind of figure out how the mechanic works. I was workshopping this thing where you can push like an entity around, kind of like strength boulders in Pokemon. But I made this little like tiny mechanic. Oh my gosh, Techno, that's insane, dude. Look at that. In the chat, we have the Cable Gas abominations. Looks like Plant vs. Zombies. That's insane, dude. I think this one's my favorite. But anyway, that's another tool I want to make available to you guys. And also for those, we have a lot of people here who are working on plugins for Pow Vista. And Pow Vista right now has the ability on PC to load in plugins. And so we've got a XP Tracker plugin, a Loot Beam plugin that's ready to use. That one's made by Rebel Wonder. We have a respawner timer plugin. What's another plugin we have? Britt is working on a plugin where you can hover your mouse over items and see like their type effectiveness and stuff.
Now, do any of these steal my credit card information?
these do not steal your credit card information. However, they are currently under a use at your own risk situation where don't download a plugin made by a random person that you don't trust. So what we're going to do is we're going to have like a little thing in the app where it has like trusted plugins that have been like vetted by us that you can turn on. But then if you're a plugin developer, you can put in your own plugin and basically try it out. But yeah, beware because out there in the world of plugins and games, there's always a chance that someone gives you a malware plugin. So you definitely want to make sure you're not like downloading a Pow Vista plugin from like a random person that you don't know, or like basically getting scammed online. Those avoid getting scammed and hacked online rules apply here. You want to tread carefully when it comes to those items. So yeah, March. These plugins do not steal your credit card information. However, there's always a chance that a imposter could pretend to be one of these people and send it to you. So stay safe out there. JD says, where can I find these plugins? We actually haven't posted them outside of beta yet. What I can do is put together a little package of plugins that we've verified are good to go. And we can make a little, and JD, I'll tag you so you see it, but I'll make a little thread in one of these channels in the Discord showing you the plugins and giving you it's a quick little guide. All you have to do is like basically make a folder, put the plugins inside, and then select that folder in the main menu of Pow Vista. That's how you turn them on. And then once you load them in, there's basically just like a little toggle where you can turn it on or off. But yeah, the XP tracker plugin is pretty cool because you can see very easily how much XP you're getting on a time basis. And then my other favorite one's probably the loop beam plugin, where if you get a shiny, it has a cool loop beam. If you get a hoodie, it has a different loop beam. But yeah, that's basically, let me think. Is there anything else you guys want to go over before we call it for today? Any random discussion questions in the chat? Okay, Raisu's got wiki.com/plugins. Okay. So yeah, here on the wiki, it actually describes what are plugins. Plugin is an add-on that gives Pow Vista new features without changing its original code. Plugins were provided by the developer and are also being made by fellow players. How do I install plugins? Oh, cool. Yeah, it's got a whole little guide here. The thing is, we've got one plugin here, Bouncy Vista, which just makes the UI bouncy. What we'll do is we'll add to this list with other verified plugins. Servers Offline made this Bouncy Vista plugin, which kind of makes everything all bouncy, the UI. Anyway, yeah, that link is the place to go. So that's what we'll do. We'll put the plugins there, and then JD, I'll send you that link once it has all the verified plugins that are working and are verified not to be malicious, because you never want to be using a malicious plugin. But any thoughts on that, guys?
Personally, very excited about being able to get the plugins from somewhere because I've been wanting to use like the XP tracker myself. So
yeah, what's your guys' like dream plugin? Like Techno, I'd be curious to hear. And March, if you could have any plugin for Pow Vista that doesn't exist right now, and that maybe exists in another game, or any kind of feature that is kind of like plugin related, what do you guys have in mind?
Honestly, my dream plugin's already in the game. In a sense, it's the XP tracker one.
Awesome. Fake Techno, what about you? You got any dream plugins for the game?
I think Techno fell asleep there. Let's just wait for him to start snoring.
No worries. That's hilarious, dude. That'd be great. Okay, so the other thing is, Fake Guru says, will plugins be possible on mobile one day? Or is that a phone limitation? They are possible on mobile. The reason we don't enable them on mobile right now is because it's a little more difficult on mobile to like, first of all, like have a plugin folder and like set a folder with plugins. So we'd have to have like better functionality for what for how to like turn on plug, because right now you just set a folder and it like scans that folder for plugins and puts them in the game. So we'd have to kind of change things around for that. The other thing with is just the whole thing of like some plugins have like functionality that can only be used with like a computer mouse basically. So for example, the XP tracker requires you to double right click to like keep the XP tracking open, which we kind of want to improve that. But that's just how it works right now. And that one was actually developed by Mockroach, who has had to step away for the time being from plugin development. So that's kind of like it's a zombie plugin, but it works great, and we've scanned it all, and it's incredible. We've used it ourselves. Looks like Techno's back. I think he was out of commission there for a second, but Techno, you're back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Oh, perfect. I was gonna say, honestly, my dream one. You guys were making the joke that I might have been asleep. My dream one was the loop plugin, because I'm like, even when I'm like half asleep, I see that little beam, and I'm like,
perfect.
Oh, there's what I want, I got what I wanted, so I was, I'm big excited. I've been using that one since Rebel.
Okay, so you've already been using that one.
Yeah, he sent me. He's like, "Oh, here's the loop plugin. It's all done." So I was like giving it a try, and I've been big.
So have you gotten a shiny drop yet with it?
I have, yeah. Actually, that cable gas today, and I got a shiny hoodie today. I've gotten pretty much every type of shiny today, and all the each of the drops are working like they should be. So I've been very pleased with it.
Awesome. What I really love about these plugins is that, especially for things like the loop beam, is that there might be certain plugins where we all love the plugin so much that we're just like, hey, let's just make this part of the game. Like, let's make this on in the default version of the game. And I think the cool thing of having the ability for anyone to make a plugin is that you can literally like try out an idea you have for the game and figure out how to code it up, and then you can show everyone what it's like having it in the game. And then like even if like we haven't prioritized it at all and we're like working on other stuff, you can like come up with like, hey, I have a loop beam plugin. This is what loop beams would look like. And and if it's good enough and we all like it, we can just add that straight into the game for everybody. So that's kind of a cool element of it. Let's see. What else? UI color customization as a plugin is someone's dream plugin, JD's dream plugin. That's a cool idea, and wouldn't be too hard at all. UI size customization would be super cool too. Yeah, I like that. Excuse me, this is going to be loud. Sorry, I had to open up some chips for my kid. My family just got home. But
luckily there was no sound.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I guess it got filtered out or something. Yeah, so keep on dreaming. Even if you feel like you can't make a plugin yourself, like if you have ideas for plugins, you can put them in suggestions. And maybe, someone who knows how to build a plugin will try it out and build it. So I'm pretty excited to have this ability in the game. And like I said, I'll be getting you guys the character painter pretty soon, and I think that's going to be a cool way too for like literally anyone can use that to help contribute to the game if you so wish. Well, I guess we should wrap up here pretty soon. Any final thoughts before we head out for the day?
What is the pathway to getting the Powfinity hoodie looking like? Because I'm a little interested in wearing that all the time.
The pathway to the Powfinity hoodie. Okay, so are you talking about what is the final like in-game way that it will be to get it, or like what's the development progress on that? Is that kind of what you're asking?
The latter, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So development progress is definitely not too far on the Powfinity hoodie. Unfortunately, I wish I had a better update for you. Thankfully, this is a thing where we can design it pretty quickly, and we'll get on that now that you've brought it up, because having that in goal, like in date reward, and Raizu's talking about Guardians. We have Guardians are in the works along with Flog Tunnels. I'll have an update on Guardians. I think we'll be pretty close to releasing those at our next week Q&A, and I can talk more about Guardians. But I was hoping to at least have a few combat mechanics in for Guardians, which for those of you who don't know, Guardians are going to be like these little boss creatures, golem-type creatures that you can fight when you have a level 100 in a skill. And they drop like the special Guardian hoodies that have like wings and stuff, and looks pretty cool. But yeah, the first version of these are going to be like, there's just like little Guardian NPCs throughout the world that if you talk to them, that they'll like reveal that they're like an entity that like basically like protects the element or that's associated with it, like water, electric, ice, strength, that kind of thing. And then if you talk to it while you have level 100 in that stat, it'll like teleport you into the Guardian boss room, and you can fight the Guardians. So that's going to be pretty exciting, especially for those who already have level 100s, like Raisu, of course. Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
He's about the level 100 in strength as well. He's very
what?
Close.
Okay, let me see this.
Yeah.
That's the utter shock in your what?
99 strength, dude. You know, I loved RuneScape so much as a kid that I wrote a song called 99 Strength. I'll have to change it to be level 100 strength. But it was just a song all about training up your skills and basically owning noobs in the wilderness with a DDS spec once you have 99 strength. Yeah, guys, I think we should wrap up the Q&A here. My kids are playing Zombies 2, the movie, very loudly in the background. You guys probably can't even hear it, but I'm going to go hang out with them. Thank you so much for being here for the Q&A, everyone. Thanks for joining us the whole time, Techno, and March, thank you as well. Both of you guys, your amazing ideas for the game. I can't wait to get these things in it and be able to experience it. So thank you guys for being here for the Q&A.
Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. See you next week.